Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to turn complex info into insights you can really use. So picture this. Your city, maybe even your own town, transformed into this massive open-air gallery. Art that's not just tucked away in museums, but right there, on the walls, breathing life into places, sparking conversations.
Yeah, building actual community. It's art you feel, not just see.
Exactly. It's got this real power, doesn't it? Art as a catalyst, changing how we see things, even changing the feel of our urban spaces.
That's the core of it.
And that's exactly what we're going to, dive into today. Our mission for you is to explore the really complex world of Italian street art. We want to unpack its economic impact, its cultural weight, the social side of things.
And also the legal stuff, which is fascinating, and where it might be heading.
Right. We've got a whole bunch of sources looking at impact, trends, and this really amazing project called the Wallà. We'll hear about the artists, too.
Some incredible talent involved there.
Yeah. So we're going to pull out the key facts, the aha moments, to help you understand why Italian street art is, so important right now. Let's get into it.
Sounds good. And what's really interesting is Italian street art. It's not new. Not really.
Oh.
It actually has these really deep roots. You can trace traditions back to the 16th century. These artists called Madonari. Yeah, they literally paint religious figures on the streets, for people passing by. But the modern stuff, the resurgence we see now, that really kicked off around the 1980s.
Okay.
Especially in cities like Milan, Bologna, Rome. That's where it really started to take hold again.
You mentioned deep roots and this evolution. How did it go from being, often illegal stuff, right? Unauthorized acts.
Yeah, often seen as vandalism.
To being something that's actually part of city planning, integrated into urban policy. What were the big steps, or maybe the hurdles?
It's been quite a journey. I mean, initially, a lot of it was unauthorized. But then artists started getting recognition for their skill, the power of their messages.
So perception started to shift.
Exactly. Public perception changed. Big turning points were things like large-scale commissions, festivals, events that brought artists into, let's say, official spaces, often tied to urban renewal projects.
Ah, okay. So using art to fix up areas.
Precisely. And this legitimization, it led to Italian artists getting major international recognition. They're transforming cities worldwide now, not just in Italy.
Like who are some of the big names we should know?
Well, there's Blue. He's known for these huge monumental murals. You see them in Bologna, Milan, Rome, often with really strong social commentary.
Right. I think I've seen some of that. Powerful stuff.
Definitely. Then there's Alice Pasquini. Her work often explores feminist themes, and she's recognized globally. Osmo, too. He's been active since, 2001. He blends writing, graffiti, public art. Been in festivals from Miami Wynwood to London Shoreditch.
Wow, quite the range.
Yeah. And you've got innovators, too, like Sten and Lex.
Sten and Lex. You mentioned them in the outline. They developed unique techniques, right? The halftone stencil and stencil poster. Can you maybe break that down about what does that actually look like?
Sure. So their halftone stencil is incredibly detailed. They cut these intricate stencils to create a texture, almost like an old newspaper photo. Gives it this really distinct graphic look, plays with light and shadow in a cool way.
Okay, I can picture that. Almost pixelated, but handmade.
Kind of, yeah. And the stencil poster is where they make a stencil on paper, stick it to the wall, then peel parts of the paper away so the wall itself becomes part of the final piece. It's really clever.
That sounds fascinating. Integrating the surface itself.
It is. And their innovation got them into major international shows, even prestigious collections like Minardi in Naples and Macro in Rome.
So real institutional recognition.
Absolutely. And there are others, like 108. He's a key figure in Italian urban abstract art. These enigmatic, almost spiritual shapes he creates. They pop up in Milan, New York, Berlin. Very distinctive.
It really sounds like these artists are part of a bigger conversation, a global thing, and the cities themselves are crucial. Which Italian cities really stand out as hubs for this?
Oh, definitely. Rome is huge, obviously. But Naples, too. It's become famous for that massive Maradona mural in the Quartieri Spagnoli. Draws crowds.
I have heard about that one, yeah.
Milan has the ORME Ortica Memoria project. It's incredible. 20 murals in one neighborhood, the Ortica, telling the story of 20th century Milan, like a history lesson on the walls.
Wow, 20 murals. That's a commitment.
It is. Even Florence, the heart of the Renaissance. It hosts contemporary street artists like Clute and Blub. So the city's art story keeps evolving. It's not just about the past.
That's a great point. These cities aren't just like passive canvases. They're
Yeah.
actively weaving this art into their identity.
Exactly.
Okay, so this leads us nicely into the next bit. We've talked about the art, the artists, the cities, but what about the tangible impact, the effect on urban development, local economies? How does a mural actually create economic value or help, revive a neighborhood?
It's actually quite significant. You've got over 180 Italian communes that's local governments actively supporting street art projects.
180, that's quite a few.
It is. And around 300 public initiatives, maybe 30 national festivals each year. These aren't just like decoration. They attract cultural tourists. And in some cases, yeah, they can boost real estate values, genuinely revitalize areas that were maybe run down.
How does that economic impact really work? Is it just tourists buying coffee, or is it deeper? Like, does it create sustainable jobs or new businesses?
It can be both. You definitely see a short-term boost from visitors.
Mm-hmm.
But in places where it's done well, yeah, you see new cafes, little shops, galleries sometimes pop up, and ecosystem starts to build around the art.
Can you give us a really concrete example? Paint a picture of what this revitalization actually looks like. And maybe describe a specific place, how people reacted.
Okay, take the Borgo of Stornera. It's in Puglia. This place was practically becoming a ghost town, serious depopulation. But through street art, a dedicated effort, it's now got over 140 murals. It's become an artistic destination. Thousands of visitors come. Imagine that a forgotten village buzzing again because of art.
That's incredible, from ghost town to art hub.
It really is. Or Naples, again, the Quartieri Spagnoli. The Corspanato project by Tjopinkoff helped turn it into an open-air museum, changed the whole vibe of an area that, frankly, had a tough reputation.
So art shifted the narrative.
Completely. And even more recently, the CVTA Street Fest in 2024, it showed how street art can revive semi-abandoned villages. That's a really hopeful sign for smaller places across Italy.
So it's clear this isn't just niche, it has real-world value, but how does it stack up against the wider Italian contemporary art market? That market's huge overall, right?
It is. The Italian contemporary art market hit over 1.3 billion euros in 2023. So it's substantial. Street art, though, while it's growing in visibility and cultural impact, market-wise, it's still pretty niche.
Niche how?
In terms of actual sales transactions, it represents only about 0.4% of the global ultra-contemporary segment. That's maybe around 610,000 USD in turnover.
Okay, so tiny in market terms, but big in impact. Interesting dynamic. Is there potential for that market share to grow?
I think so. There are things on the horizon.
Like what?
Well, there's talk it's pinned in ratification of reducing the VAT on art in Italy from 22% down to 5%.
Wow, that's a big drop.
Huge. If that happens, it could really stimulate the whole art market, including this sector. Plus, Milan is really pushing to be a major art hub. You've got events like Me Art and then the 2026 Winter Olympics coming up.
Ah, the Olympics effect.
Exactly. Big events like that draw international eyes, international money to all kinds of art, including urban art. Could definitely boost investment and appreciation.
Okay, so the economic side is strong, potentially getting stronger. But let's shift back to maybe the soul of it, the cultural and social heart of street art. It's more than just economics, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Culturally, it's adding this whole new layer to Italy's incredible artistic heritage. It's contemporary stories, but often they connect with history, creating this dialogue between now and then.
Like the Milan project telling 20th century history.
Precisely. And socially, it's such a powerful platform for expressing social issues, political ideas, environmental concerns, making them visible, unavoidable sometimes.
Can you give an example of that social expression?
Sure. There was the Street Art for Rights project in Rome. It finished up in 2023. Over 30 works, artists like Fabio Patani, out in the Roman suburbs. Each piece was linked to one of the UN Sustainable Development Goals.
Really? Like illustrating the goals?
Yeah. Effectively creating this accessible, open-air museum focused on rights and sustainability, right where people live, educating, inspiring, sparking thought.
And that really builds community, too, I imagine. People sharing these experiences, feeling a new pride in their area.
Yes, exactly. Fostering participation, strengthening that local identity, which actually brings us perfectly to the Wallà.
Ah, yes, the Wallà.
Because that project, it's like a perfect case study. It pulls together all these threads, the economic, the cultural, the social, the community building.
Okay, so the Wallà.
Yeah.
You say it's transformative. What exactly is it? And what made this small community, Vallà, decide to do something so ambitious?
Right, so the Wallà is this really visionary project.
Yeah.
It's participatory urban regeneration.
Hmm.
The whole idea is to turn Vallà, which is a small place, maybe 3,000 people, in Treviso, Veneto region, into an open-air museum.
Using the town itself as the museum.
Exactly. It kicked off in 2021. Their motto says it all. In street art, we trust. It's about using street art as a tool, a collective tool, for people to reclaim their everyday spaces.
Reclaim them how?
By creating stories, dialogue, identity through murals, seeing the town's buildings as canvases for permanent art. It came from the ground up, from locals wanting to bring art and beauty back into focus. The aim was, and I'm quoting here, to awaken participation from below, ignite identity, dialogue, and creative spark. Really about revitalizing the town, building community spirit. And they have a festival too, usually end of August. The whole town gets involved.
That sounds amazing, a grassroots effort. So who are the key players, the group behind it, the supporters, the artists?
The main driving force is the Collettivo Biocaverta, but they have support from the local government, the Comune di Riese POX, the regional government, Regione del Veneto, and the province, Provincia di Treviso. And critically, it involves both the residents who are embracing this and a mix of Italian and international artists.
Okay, let's talk about some of those artists and their work there. You mentioned Eric Hill, Consleek's piece, Ray Bell, the weasel and fox playing cards. You said it symbolizes shrewdness versus community values. How does a piece like that actually, work on the ground? How does it spark conversation in Vallà?
Well, it's playful, right? But it makes you think about human nature, about how people interact in the small community. Are we looking out for ourselves or for the group? It prompts that kind of reflection, that dialogue, just by being there, looking charming, but having this deeper layer.
I see. It's accessible but meaningful. What about Dia, the anonymous Colombian artist? The mural with the soldier being disarmed by tickling, that's such a striking image. How does that fit the project's goals?
Dia often tackles big social questions, class, gender, colonialism, using nature symbols. This piece is incredibly powerful. It's suggesting non-violent ways to deal with conflict, right? Softening power structures through humanity, humor even. It encourages people to think differently about resolving issues.
A really profound message delivered visually.
Absolutely. And then there's Agostino Iacurci. His work is on a private house, this multicolored facade, huge monumental door. What's the story there?
Iacurci's piece is fascinating. It acts like a symbolic gateway for the village. It nods to local building styles, but reimagines them with these bold colors. It turns an ordinary house into something extraordinary, a portal.
A portal?
Yeah, like an invitation. To see the town not just as buildings, but as a special place, a place of transformation. Welcome. It perfectly captures that idea of reappropriating everyday places through art. It's amazing how much meaning can be packed into these murals. Just incredible diversity, too. From Krazer reinterpreting Canova to Z1's dreamlike figures exploring identity, Santecrente merging ancient and modern.
Right. And Tony Gallo's emotional anthropomorphic characters, Vera Bugatti connecting ethics and Pasolini, Alessandra Carloni's dreamlike figures on herons exploring connection.
Run exploring human nature metamorphosis, Camilla Falsini focusing on the undergrowth and diversity, Peta Ed with optical illusions, Boogie Eads stylized text, Stenlex's dynamic geometry, Milla's giant figure pausing in the city. Each one adds a different layer.
Exactly. It shows the breadth of what street art can be and how it resonates within this specific community context of the Wallà.
It really does. Okay, so the Wallà shows the incredible potential, but as street art becomes more prominent, more accepted, it bumps up against the old ways of thinking, the legal system. Let's talk about that tension. How has the law viewed street art? Is it vandalism or art?
That's the classic question, isn't it? And historically, the debate was fierce. But there was a really significant moment in Italy in 2016. The Court of Cassation, that's the highest court, acquitted a street artist named Manu Invisible. He'd been accused of defacement.
And the court said no.
Essentially, yes. They recognized the artistic value in that context.
Yeah.
It was a huge step towards legitimizing street art within the Italian legal system, a real precedent.
But is the debate over? Are there still legal gray areas? What about things like copyright for the artist? Or what happens if the art is on private property and the owner wants it gone? Preservation issues.
Oh, absolutely. Those complexities remain. The Manu Invisible case was important, but it didn't solve everything. Issues of intellectual property, the ephemeral nature of the art, consent, preservation, these are ongoing discussions. It's still evolving.
Okay, so an evolving legal landscape. Looking ahead then, what's next for Italian street art? What trends are you seeing for, say, 2025 and beyond?
Well, I think we'll definitely see continued growth. and more integration into official cultural contexts. You've got established events like the Mardi Festival, continuing internationally Santa Barbara in 2025, and new exhibitions popping up like in Pontedera, Tuscany.
The staying power.
Definitely. And also this expansion beyond the big cities into the provinces. There's a new biennial starting in Altalonga, Piedmont
Yeah.
in 2025 focused on emerging talents. That's a key trend, spreading it out, nurturing new artists.
Interesting. Beyond just growth, any thoughts on artistic directions? More tech integration, maybe? Or a focus on temporary stuff?
That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
We might see more digital interaction, maybe augmented reality layers on murals, or perhaps a counter trend, focusing more on the handmade, the ephemeral, playing with the temporary nature of street art itself. It's definitely a space to watch.
Fascinating. Okay, so let's try and bring this all together. Italian street art, especially when you look at something like the Wallà, it's clearly not just a passing trend. It's mature, it's global, it has real economic and cultural weight.
And maybe most importantly, that social impact.
Mm.
Fostering dialogue, regenerating communities from the inside out.
It really shows how art can be this powerful catalyst for change, not just changing walls, but changing communities, how people see their own place.
Absolutely.
This has been a fantastic deep dive, really opened my eyes to the power of art out there in the everyday. Which leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener. How might what we've learned about Italy's street art scene make you look at your own town, your own city differently? What role could art play right where you are in building community or telling stories that maybe aren't being told? Something to think about next time you're walking down the street.
Yeah, look up, look around.
Exactly. We hope this deep dive has given you a fresh perspective.